Hey, what's good? Evan Edinger is an American-British YouTuber living in London that notices the funny differences between cultures. He also has 820,000 subscribers. In this video, he's telling us the 7 things about the American Midwest that shocked him. And being from Chicago, I identify as a Midwesterner, so I wanted to check out this video with you guys. While we do that, I'm going to keep working on this kids book. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com and get you some clothes that I think would look really good on you. Let's go. All right, Evan, what'd you learn? What shocked you?
So I get out the train station, I walk around for 20 minutes, unable to find any single fruit. So I asked an employee at a touristy building where I could find fruit, and her response amazed me. From strange tipping practices to insane political ads on every corner, my recent road trip through the American Midwest was full of surprises with 7 big things that stood out to me. If you're new here, hi, my name is Evan Edinger.
Where'd you go,
half
though?
American, half British, half YouTuber, half math major who didn't really like fractions. Let's start off with not the first thing I noticed, but the thing that blew my mind the most. So I've recently gotten into nutrition and caring a bit more about what I put in my body. It's not that hardcore, it's just making sure I get more fruits, vegetables, and fiber and whatnot. Usually when I'm on holiday in the States, I eat whatever I want. I mean, I eat comfort food, I eat at diners. I try not to think about it. It's not a big deal.
Is not vegetables,
But actively trying
Evan.
to find fruit or veg proved to be way more difficult than I could have ever imagined in some major U.S.
Where
cities.
were you,
It's one of
though?
those things where if I'm not ever looking for it, I won't notice they're gone. But then as soon as I start looking for it, oh boy. My first morning in Chicago, I set myself up with a simple challenge. Buy the first fruit.
Shots fired. I used to ride my bike from home to work. I used to work at the Leo Burnett, and they have a building right there, right on the river, right there on Wacker. And I can, there's a bunch of fruit stands, like brick and mortar fruit stands. There was a bunch of them between my place and Leo Burnett. So, Evan, watch your mouth.
Any shop I come across during my day. This proved to be impossible. I walked 15 minutes from my hostel in Wicker Park to a highly rated restaurant and found nothing. Then at the restaurant, the only fruit or veg on the menu was a dish that included onions. So I politely just asked the waiter why they didn't have anything with fruit or veg on the menu, and the waiter told me they get people asking for fruit about once a week, but that's not enough for them to even consider putting any on the menu. Just weird, right? Is that not just weird? So I walked from the restaurant to the nearest transit station, which, asterisk aside, Chicago has pretty good public transit by American standards. I was very impressed until the evening when I realized the next train was in 25 minutes in a major American city. But hey, by American standards, incredible.
It depends on what time. Because during rush hour, there's like every couple minutes, there's a train going by. It might not be your train, but, there's trains going by all the time. Now, the problem is when you get on the train and you're going and it just kind of stops sometimes. There's some kind of repair that always needs to be done. But look at how pretty and clean that train looks. And then the little voice up there, the helpful voice, ding, Washington, next. Exit on the left. And then inevitably, you're going to have some guy over there that may be hooked on drugs, maybe not, I don't know, but he's going to tell you how much of a sinner you are and that you're going to hell. And then you go to work. Welcome to Chicago.
As I walked to the nearest transit station, I still found no fruits, but I did find a few really nice donut places. But I was thinking,
You're not
okay,
looking,
maybe
bitch.
it's because I'm
You're not
on
looking,
the
bitch.
outskirts of Chicago, like I'm not in the inner zones. So maybe if I head to downtown, that's where I can find some fruit, as that's where, more people are. This was where I was wrong. After getting off the train in downtown Chicago, I spent 20 minutes walking around, unable to find a single fruit. So I'm going crazy here. What the heck is going on? Has no one noticed
Go
this?
into
So
any
I asked
restaurant.
at a touristy building where I could find fruit, and her response
You could even go
amazed me.
into, hang on, Evan. You can even go to any number of 7-Elevens. Sure, the fruit is going to be plastic wrapped. Sure, there's going to be styrofoam under some cut bananas or whatever. There's fruits and vegetables. You just can't be a bitch.
First, she said, "Fruit? You're in downtown." And I was like, well, yeah.
Oh,
there's
get
a lot of
outta
people
here.
A lot of people that might want fruit. To which she replied, "Chicagoans don't have any time to eat fruit."
I
What?
mean,
So, I don't know. That's just a wild thing someone said to me. Turns out.
We have to check that chick's credentials. She might be from like Iowa or something. Dude, especially downtown. That's where all the money is. Well, all the professional money. All the personal money, that's like in Lincoln Park and down where Obama lives. You know? Like there's I don't agree. You go into, granted, the downtown area is more professional, so there's like a lot of hustle and bustle. So you're not going to see like a full on fruit stand. And yeah, people are busy, but all the people I worked with, well, actually, we brought our fruits and vegetables. But again, you can go to any number of the little convenience stores, you'll find it there. We have soup places that also sell salad and all that stuff. So relax, Evan.
Eating an apple, eating a banana, it just takes too much time. But eating a donut, eating a bagel, 1,000-calorie cookie, more on that later in the video.
You're
That's
going to
just more
have Dunkin'
convenient for
Donuts and
Chicagoan,
stuff
I
all over
guess.
the place.
Hey, maybe
That's
the donut
for
will
sure.
have jelly in it, so that's part of your 5 a day. That is insane. Insane response. Either way, the nearby employee told me I might be able to try my luck going down the hall a bit, walking through the mall, and then getting my way into a Dunkin' Donuts. And sure enough, thank God, it turns out Dunkin' Donuts is a mecca for what I was looking for. A single solitary banana. I had finally found success in my challenge, and I did not feel successful. Oh my God.
7-Eleven, kid.
People are able to
You got to
live
know
in a
what
city
you're
like
looking
that
for and
where
where to look.
the options aren't even there. You have to go out of your way. I do know there are
Not
definitely
true.
like big grocery stores you could go to on the outskirts of most American cities, including Chicago, to get fruits. But you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to go outside of the city to get fruit. The fact that that's not readily available all over the place is a pretty big sign on why America is the way it is in certain ways. But on the topic of fruit, I ended up buying a lot of random fruit cups from the odd shops and gas stations during my road trip, and it wasn't until I had a fruit cup at my local Greggs in Greenwich in London, which, by the way, is not normally high quality stuff, in which I realized the fruits that I had in America compared to Greggs were really, really bad. Bad. The Greggs ones were juicy. They were sweet. They felt fresh. At Greggs. For anyone that's not been at Greggs, imagine me just singing praises about the Walmart Subway and being like, that's the best sandwich I ever had. You're like, okay. That's how good the fruits are at Greggs compared to just any fruit cup in the States. Blown away. Every single fruit cup I did seek out in the American Midwest was just quite mid by comparison. So not only is fruit not easily accessible, but when you do find it, well, maybe understand a bit more about why they're harder to find. They're just not great. Obviously, if I'd gone out of my way to a big grocery store on the outskirts of the city, I would have no doubt found fruits. There's probably Americans already very angry, like, oh, you should have gone like 10.
Yeah, what he's about to say. All you have to do is go 10 minutes up the road. There's grocery stores. There's people that actually live there. As a matter of fact, we have grocery stores that are attached to the buildings. So you have an apartment building, and on the first floor, the ground floor, chances are there's going to be some sort of grocery store or convenience store or something like that. He's being very dramatic.
Out of the city to the giant Safeway or something. I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that.
We don't have Safeway. We have Jules. We have Jules, and Dominic's just got butt up. Who owns Dominic's? Well, if Dominic's is still there, then Dominic's, damn it.
Even if it's a donut place like the Dunkin' Donuts, just put some fruits in the front. You know, is that really that much to ask? I don't think so. I just don't think you should have to go out of your way to find the most basic form of healthy food. Whereas making it so incredibly easy to
You can go into almost any building, and chances are there's going to be a Starbucks. Chances are Starbucks has fruit. I don't know about vegetables, but you know.
things like donuts doesn't bode well. So, despite the food in Chicago being incredibly tasty, I do not know how you can live there without easy
He said, I do not, I do not know.
Now, to add a bit of positivity here, out of everywhere that I traveled in the U.S., which so far is this map, I'd say Midwesterners are by far the nicest. Like,
we can go back to that map. If I had that map, maybe I should make videos like this. If I had that map.
Now, to add a bit of positivity here, out of everywhere that I traveled in the U.S., which so far is this map,
I have been to almost all of them. Except Alaska. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Texas. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Nevada. Yeah, I've been to Colorado. I've been to the majority of the connected states. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Midwest people are definitely friendly. We're weather makes you not worry about shit that you don't need to be worried about. You need to worry about apparently finding vegetables and taking your ass home before it starts to snow and it gets to 30 degrees below zero.
I'd say Midwesterners are by far the nicest. Like those memes that you see about
100%.
Americans just asking how you're doing. You know, they're striking up a conversation.
You know how many people have said, and I'll give you an extreme story. I was talking to someone and he told me how he went to Chicago and he went to Wrigleyville and he was just hanging out, and then he was explaining to some of the locals how he was just visiting and he'd never been in Chicago and he doesn't know where he's going to stay, blah blah blah, and they let him stay on the couch. I mean, and then unfortunately what you do is you take that and you go literally anywhere else and you find out that people are jerks. People are jerks. You're just trying to be nice and you're trying to be, Midwestern, I guess, and there's a lot of people that are just dumb. They're just mean for no problem, for no reason.
Being super helpful. That was like everyone that I met in the Midwest. Like people in Pittsburgh, the city that at one point was known as the gateway to the Midwest, were just all so kind, all so talkative to me, whether I was getting a shot for an upcoming video or just wandering around. People were just so nice. Ohioans, also super nice. Everyone in Illinois, very, very lovely. Even people in random restaurant chains just felt nicer. Like the people that, they're just working their job and it just felt like they were really nice. Not like fake nice. They just felt so nice. It reminded me of how, like, every time I've gone to the north of England, the people there in Yorkshire, they're just kinder. They talk to you. They're nice. So I feel like the Midwest in the States is just so similar to, like, Sheffield and everywhere up north. It's just nice.
Without the vegetables,
though,
apparently.
That being said, I did have a very interesting conversation in Detroit, Michigan. So I was ordering one of those famous Detroit-style pizzas, which was for a video that is hopefully coming on my second channel soon, where I'm trying all the food from the area. So stay tuned for that. But
yeah,
as I
was gonna say Detroit-style pizza is kind of like a puffy pan pizza. Like what they used to serve in high school. They put the dough down in a cookie sheet, and then they put all the toppings, and then it's a big old square like that. Tasty though, but pizza's pizza.
Picking up the food, the employee asked me where my accent was from, because everyone's so talkative in this area. She asked me where I'm from, she asked me like what I'm doing, and I told her, I'm originally from Jersey, but I've lived in London for 12 years. I'm shooting some videos here, going to a film festival
Jersey
in Toronto today. Just standard fare. And I said I'm also excited to vote later in next week. And to this, she responded with what I can only describe as the most polite tone imaginable, but the words did not match the tone at all. She said, "Oh yeah, we love it when you Europeans come over here and tell us how to vote." And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? First off, first time I've ever been referred to as a European. Secondly, I was like, well, I am from Jersey. Like, I am American. I pay my taxes. I actually have the right to vote. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. We just love it when you guys tell us what you think of our elections. And I was like,
you said Jersey, not New Jersey.
I'm just going to get out of here. The sheer canyon between how incredibly nice and polite her tone was and what, like, the subtext was of what she was saying was just too uncomfortable for me. I had to get out of there. Is that like a Midwestern thing to be ultrally kind on top, but hiding sheer contempt? Because, listen, I didn't even say anything about who I was voting for. I was just saying, I am going to vote. And she's like, stop telling us how to vote. I'm not. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that was just one sheer aside. I ended up going to Canada, and they were nicer than I was treated in Michigan, I will say. Number 3. Now, I've been gone from the U.S. for 12.
If you didn't know, Detroit is basically across the street from Canada. It bumps up to Canada, so it's not that big of a trip. It's hilarious that he's losing his mind. No, that's someone from Detroit. I don't know. I don't know why she took exception to you wanting to vote or whatever, but I'm sure she probably misunderstood what you said.
And I worked there as a waiter for 5 years, where tipping is still expected in that field. But nothing could have prepared me for just how much tipping has wriggled its way into every possible interaction in American society. At one point, I'm in Akron, Ohio, just stopping by a Starbucks to pick up a pumpkin spice frappuccino because I'm a basic boy. That said, I choose the drive-thru, which now does come off as a bit foreign and weird. because I don't really drive in the UK. So I'm like, oh, a drive-through. How convenient. I don't have to get out of my car. So I hop back on the interstate. You know, everything seems nice, right? So I place my order, and as I pull up to the pay window, an employee leans out of the pay window, her arm fully outstretched, and she turns the device to me and just locks eyes and says, it's going to ask you a question. You don't have to say yes. Jesus Christ! What if I'm ordering a frap? I'm ordering a coffee drink at a Starbucks through a drive-through, and I get the, would you like to tip, starting at 18%? A coffee drink at a drive-through? It's just so uncomfortable. I just couldn't believe that this
Then
is
say
now a
no.
thing in drive-throughs.
Why do you let someone
It was a
pressure
puppy dog
you
eye.
into
And I was like, what the
something
fuck?
you
Again, I
don't
had
want
a
to
similar
do?
interaction at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through in a different state on this road trip, where I felt like the employee was purposefully trying to parody that South Park episode about the Whole Foods, in which she literally asked me, would you like to donate $1 to feed the hungry children? Which hungry children? I don't know.
Would you like to add a $1 donation to help hungry kids around the world?
Oh, no, that's okay.
So with the no help for hungry kids, that's $18.87. Your change is right there. Just pull the sandwich out of the little girl's mouth.
First, you got everybody asking for tips because they're not paid very fairly. Then you get people asking for charity so that the companies they work for can get tax write-offs. Then you get asked to pay more in tax because the tax isn't included in the price. I don't know how you guys put up with it each and every day. Each one of these interactions is so draining. Oh, God. Got to the point, this was like the worst time. I went into a random cafe in Chicago, and I just wanted a bottled water. I'm so thirsty. There's a little thing there. I pick up the bottle. I put it on the counter. This is all I want. Just this, thanks. Spins it around. Would you like to tip me? What did you do, sir? You did nothing. I got the water, and I put it on the counter. What have you supplied me? A smile? I'm not paying for smiles.
You're not wrong.
What did you do besides
You're
asking
not
me to
wrong.
pay? Do you want me to give you a little parade? I don't think so.
Another thing, like if I'm out having a good time, whatever, at a bar, maybe if I ask you for a beer and the bartender goes and gets a beer, you'll probably get $1. But if like I ask you to make a mojito, something that's a little bit more entailed, you have to muddle and do all the things, you're gonna get a little bit extra. But yeah, like reaching down, grabbing a bottle, and this guy didn't even grab a bottle, but yeah, he did the bare minimum. He touched a picture and then started charging for $1 and I was asking for a tip. That's wild. But at the same time, like that's how rough it is for people working there. You're making what, $15 an hour? So you work for an hour, you can't even afford lunch yet. And then chances are you're in an area, if it's like a Starbucks or something, chances are it's going to be like a business type of area. So things are going to be a little more expensive. And apparently there's no fruit or vegetables anywhere around to be. That is so weird. Yeah, I don't know. That he has an argument on this one. Like he grabbed the bottle. Like imagine going to I don't know, a convenience store, like drugstore or something, Osco or Rite Aid or CVS, anything like that. You grab a bottle and the person behind the counter is asking you for a tip. Yeah, I get it.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how Americans deal with this every day. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot going on in the world. But this just hurts. We've got some service charge creep entering the UK, and I just don't want that to come here. It is just not good, okay? Oh, God. It just feels like it's gone too far. We need some sort of legislation to be like, pay everyone a fair wage, add the taxes to the price, stop begging everybody for money all the time. I just want my bottle of water.
Oh, it's great to
My
see
bottle
someone
of
from
water.
Europe trying to tell us what to...
Bottle
No,
of
I'm
water.
kidding. He's from
And
Jersey.
compose. Number 4 is a quick one. Despite
Welcome
having no
back.
real alternative to driving, I found it wild just how much of the infrastructure I had to drive on for my trip was a toll road. I'd basically be on a toll road, have to pay before crossing state borders to get on a different
He's lucky he
toll
didn't
road
go to
for that
Florida.
state to then pay their toll, and then it just was tolls all the way up, like turtles
Yeah.
all the way down. Depressing. The worst of this, the worst offender, yet again, sorry, Chicago. There's a part of Chicago that's less
Yeah.
than 8 miles. It's a road called the Skyway. You get on it to get out of the city, and they charge you like $10 for
Yeah.
8 miles of road to then hop on a different toll road to pay Indiana or something.
Yeah.
Why? What money? God.
Yeah. To get out of Chicago, if you take I-90, say you go I-90 west, there is 4 tolls to just get say you're going to Rockford. Rockford is about an hour away. It will cost you 4 tolls just to get an hour away. Here in California, everyone likes to talk a lot of trash, and we do have toll roads, but it's usually like the Golden Gate Bridge and stuff like that. Something that might have a little extra maintenance to it, probably. That one's a little expensive, but you can go to the top of California. You can go all the way down into Mexico, or maybe not into Mexico, but you can go all the way to Mexico and not have to pay not one toll. I've been to Florida. Just going to the grocery store, I had to pay 3 tolls.
If it would make sense if these tolls were a way to de-incentivize driving, to be like, hey, stop driving. We'll take money from you. Instead, what if you use that toll money and bought a train ticket? Except, America has no functional passenger rail throughout the U.S. Obviously there are some pockets of it that are somewhat functional, but I would have taken the train. I would have loved to have taken the train if it wasn't
the trains were worth a
journey from
damn.
basic destinations that I wanted to go to. So, yet again, it's just another example of everyone in America trying to get your money, including the roads. The roads!
Everyone.
I basically had no other options as well.
Everyone.
However, I do just want to give a quick asterisk and shout out, Michigan. Most of the Michigan roads I had to drive on, no tolls. Thank you, Michigan. You're a great
Shout out,
state for
Michigan.
that reason. I will forgive that weird passive-aggressive person in the pizza place, but the toll roads, the lack of them, thank you. I'll definitely go there again. But also, while I'm on the topic, and I do love throwing in extra fun facts into videos, I did have to drive the entire length of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And if you've ever had to drive that, you know where this is going. Well, if you didn't know, Pennsylvania Turnpike is the most expensive toll road in the world by a huge margin. It's over $130 just to drive on a road. The second place is nowhere even near that. Thanks, Pennsylvania. Not only that, not only do you have to spend a lot of money to go on this stupid road, you have to be surrounded with Pennsylvania drivers, which, Jesus Christ, it really solidified my hatred for Pennsylvania drivers. They are the worst drivers out of any state I've ever driven in. They camp in the fast lane. They have no idea what they're doing. People will be riding their butts, and they'll be like, oh, I guess you should just...
In Germany, if you are driving slow in the fast lane, they will pull you over and give you a ticket. That's one thing I wish we would figure out here. Get your ass to the right. If you are going slow, get to the right. And all this stuff about, oh, I'm in the left lane, I'm in the fast lane, and I'm driving the speed limit. That doesn't count. Get out of the way. It's none of your business if I'm flirting with getting a traffic ticket or not. Get your slow ass over to the right.
In the left lane, why not? Why? Oh, they're just so unaware of everything. Every other driver in every other state that I drove through was like totally competent. But as soon as it was Pennsylvania, Jesus Christ. A menace to the rest of the USA. New York drivers were aggressive. All right, they were kind of scary. But I could deal with that. I can't deal with Pennsylvania drivers just not knowing how to drive on their own roads. But having driven over 2,000 miles across many states really allowed me to see just how inundated Americans are with political ads at the moment. I believe hopefully this should have calmed down by now.
Ever.
For the entirety
Always.
of Pennsylvania, nearly every single billboard was a Trump ad with the tagline, endorsed by billionaire Elon Musk, which is very weird, as they were pretty much everywhere. The entirety of that turnpike was just constant Trump ads, which, hey, I guess that worked. But then as soon as I crossed into Ohio, it switched. Now all the billboards were Kamala Harris. And I just think that's so interesting. It's almost like the powers that be placing these giant chips of money like pawns on a risk table, moving around trying to play their cards right. And well,
I'm sure it's pretty close
that went
to
well
that.
for one side, didn't it? But even when I wasn't on the road, I just felt like I could not escape political ads. I'd sit down at a sports bar in Pittsburgh to enjoy a famous Pittsburgh sandwich. It was good. And they had the Steelers game on. Everyone's cheering for their local team. And in between every commercial break were the most grueling ads for senators, for congressmen, for local politicians, for the president. But they weren't ever really about that politician. Every single ad was this awful smear campaign thing, being like, this guy is bad. He's killing children. And then the other rival would come on TV and be like, actually, that guy is bad, and he wants to transition immigrants or something like that. And you could just see
He wants to transition
their
immigrants.
faces look so sullen. First off, Steelers did lose, so they're already pretty depressed. But then also, they're just You can't even look away. There's TVs all over the place. You can't even enjoy a sandwich without seeing some politician telling you that the world's going to end. It just felt so dystopian. This also happened in a diner in Jersey on my final day. I was just trying to enjoy my breakfast, and then just every TV in the diner is constantly playing the news, which coincidentally is rarely the news and mostly just ads for politicians telling you how the world is going to end. And that's just not a thing I've ever experienced in the UK or Europe in anywhere I've ever been. And if you think about it, it makes sense why so many Americans feel so desensitized with the recent election and politics in general if they're constantly being bombarded with messaging about everything and everyone being bad all the time. Conveniently in between ads for pharmaceutical companies that are like, hey, are you not happy? Are you stressed? Ask your doctor about our drug. A topic which I have made an entire video about over there. But most Americans that I spoke with just wanted the election cycle to end. And it's a shame that there pretty much is no end as US political campaigns start like 2 years before elections, so it never really feels like you can ever escape. I'll probably make a full video on this in the future, as I do feel like the UK method of limiting political campaigns to 4 to 6 weeks before an election makes way more sense. You know,
Way
for
more
your mental
sense.
health, for actually caring about the election, because it's not like you're desensitized.
Why is it that we have money problems and making things work, like education, like roads, like all these things? We pay taxes for infrastructure, but then you have to hit us with the tolls, but we're paying taxes and the roads are still shitty. But when it comes to all of these advertisements and stuff, you have plenty of money for that. You have plenty of money to ruin my Super Bowl Sunday. You have plenty of money to ruin football Sunday, all the Sundays, and all the programs, because you want to talk trash about your opponent and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. They spend so much money on that. If they were to take all that money and just put it back into the economy, or put it back into, fixing schools and bridges and roads and stuff like that, we might be okay. But no, you jam us nonstop for years with this horseshit. And then we're supposed to mask the pain with medicine that's going to make our wieners fall off. We're going to go colorblind. We're going to have a headache. We're going to get thirsty. All these things. Like, oh my goodness.
For your mental health, for actually caring about the election, because it's not like you're desensitized to it. And even the fact that you aren't allowed to have many ads about politics on TV outside of from party political broadcasts allocated by the government. I just feel like that would be better for everyone, and anything is better
So
than what's
much better.
currently going on in the US in it.
So much better.
Oh, well, back onto some
If you
positives.
can't prove
One
your
big thing I noticed
point
throughout the
in
entirety of the
4
Northeast and
months,
Midwest
you
is
don't
that
have a good
American
provable
cities
point.
really do autumn or fall so much better than British ones. The trees in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, they're all just so bright and vibrant. The reds, the yellows, the oranges, they're unlike anything you can really get in any UK city outside of an arboretum or something. And it just makes everywhere look so beautiful. I took so many photos of the fall foliage during my trip, and it just made me miss the US a bit, because the UK I feel like the leaves
That's
go
the
from like
Hancock Tower in the
green
back?
to brown and they fall off, whereas just so much color in the US during autumn. It's lovely. Also,
beautiful.
I know Halloween is much bigger of a US thing than a UK thing, but it's just so pleasant how hard Americans go into decorating for it. Sure, it's consumerism on steroids, and people are buying so many things they don't actually need. So many fake gravestones and inflatable skeletons and witch hats and yada yada. But the vibes it adds to the neighborhood, immaculate. Decorating your front yard is such a net positive for everyone else in your community, and it just shows you care, and it's just nice. Every town I went to had so many different decorations out, every little home, and it was just really pleasant, to be honest. Like I said, on one hand, I'm like, everyone's just buying all these stupid things, but then that part of my brain goes, shut up, man. Look how pretty it is. This is nice. It's nice. So that's one thing, yet again, I do miss about the States. Now, I am going to cram a lot of things
2
into this
seconds to
final
enjoy it.
category before a bonus one after the spawn, so stay tuned, as that one's pretty funny. But I'll start off by saying I heard a lot about how good frozen custard was in the Midwest when researching my big video on the secret ingredient ruining ice cream. But I can now safely say everything I learned is true. Honestly, the Midwest has such good ice cream and frozen custard as a standard
Yeah.
everywhere. Even at a fast food chain
And it
which
sucks 'cause I
specialized in butter
developed
burgers and their
lactose
frozen
intolerance,
custard,
but-
so they could have cut corners here. They could have done it like every other chain has done, but they didn't. And Culver's, which was the name of it,
nothing some-
oh my God, they had
Oh,
such
yeah,
good frozen
Culver's
custard.
is good.
It just kind of blew my mind. It had a concrete, which was like vanilla frozen custard with Oreos mixed in, and it was like the best
Yeah.
McFlurry I've ever had. It felt like I
Yeah.
was tasting something from a specialty ice cream parlor, and it was just a chain of burger ice cream place. Wild. Absolutely wild. Also, yet again, the people that were there helping me, the employees, were like the kindest people I'd ever met.
They were a custard
And it
place
felt
before
real.
they got...
Midwest is very nice. They got good frozen
they're
custard. and
known
everyone's
for
really
custard
nice.
more than their
Coffee,
burgers.
Though, all right, let's back it up. Now, when it comes to coffee, though, I will say, Chicago, not the one. So far, New York is pretty much the only U.S. city I've been to that has good coffee as a standard. A lot of places in the Midwest either don't know what a flat white is. What? It's 2024, mate. Come on, what are you doing? Or they offer
flat
different
white?
sizes of it, which shows they don't know what a flat white is.
that racist?
Or even weirder, they changed up the standard question when ordering any espresso-based drink. I tried to order a cortado at a place, and they asked me double or triple. That's the most American bullshit I've ever heard. Instead of single or double, they're just like, fuck it. We're not even going to give you that option. Double or triple. Hell, you want to quintuple that shot? No. Just...
But that's how much coffee you need. So if you don't know a cortado...
What? I feel like so many American cities treat coffee as a means to an end rather than a delicious thing. It's like you drink your coffee to get caffeinated rather than, this can taste good. But then again, the thing about light beer, so it's a similar thing. Also, I did just want to try this
Yeah, you're
brand
not
called
wrong.
Crumble Cookies, as a lot of Americans on social media since I left have been raving about it. So I find one of the places in Chicago and I go in, and I was just so blown away by the fact that one cookie, nearly 1,000 calories. What the fuck? I'm like freaking out. Like that can't be possible, right? I asked the employee, like, that must be wrong. And she went, no. Person next to me said, oh yeah, supposedly you're supposed to split it up into 4 bits. And I'm like, have you seen the size? That's like a standard. How the hell is it packed with that many calories? I see people walking in, they order the cookies, they eat the whole thing. And I'm like, that's half of your daily calories in a cookie. And listen, I'm on holiday. I'm eating fast food. I'm eating pizza. I'm eating frozen custard. I'm having a time. And yet,
Those
idea of a
cookies must be
1,000-calorie
packed
cookie,
with butter
as
and
you can.
sugar.
For extra context, the most calorie-dense donut from Dunkin' Donuts is like a Boston cream donut, and that's like 300 calories. One of these cookies
That was a good
is
one, too.
over 3 donuts? What? And people just eat it, and they're like, oh yeah, I was there for breakfast. People there for breakfast. No fruits, 1,000-calorie cookies. I can't. There's like some things where I'm like, oh, I miss fall. I miss Halloween. I don't miss that, all right? And you know what? I was mad. I wanted to try it. I just wanted to try a little bit. And I went, oh my God, they have small versions of the cookies. Maybe I'll just get one of those. Stupid me. This is America.
600.
You can't just buy one small cookie. That's not good for capitalism.
It comes in a
you have to buy
pack.
3 at a minimum. So that way, you can't just enjoy one. You have to eat all of them. You give them more money. You have to consume more calories. Fuck me. While I was touring Chicago, I did this amazing architectural tour of the city.
Oh,
by boat,
yeah,
which I
do
highly
that.
recommend. And in Canada, I visited Niagara
Oh,
Falls.
hang on.
Obviously very beautiful.
And behind me is the London Eye. What links all of these 3 things?
Let's go back.
Amazing architectural tour of the city by boat.
Oh no, it's down the street. Okay, so off to the right and back a little bit, that's where the Leo Burnett building is. But when I was working there, they were building all of these little hangout spots right down by the river. When I was a kid, none of this existed. It was just really kind of gritty, and they built all of this stuff to kind of, have places for people to go, so you don't have to go in the building and then the only different thing that you do is go into a different building. This way you can go and hang out, and in the summertime you'll see this loaded with people hanging out with their working friends. They have restaurants down there now. Sometimes they'll have like little entertaining things like bands and stuff like that. They have restaurants and stuff down there too. They've done such a good job. In the 70s, all of this was dirty and like railroady, kind of like, wasn't that cool. Now they built it up and it's gorgeous, and they shoot movies. Batman was shot in this area, the one with Christian Bale.
So here I am at JFK, a crumbling U.S. airport, waiting in the queue for security while a man constantly walks up and back and forth the queue, constantly trying to bully people into signing some sort of 14-day free trial to avoid the queue by tricking you, saying, oh, if you can skip the queue if you have an American passport and a credit card. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And he's like, yeah, you just got to sign up for this 14-day free trial. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what we all need. Another freaking paid subscription service. Anyway, thanks for subscribing. That's actually free. But when I finally get to the big x-ray machine, the final boss at the security line, right? I lift my arms up. I'm doing standard protocol, right? But then the worst thing happens. I get beeped. Not just any beep. When I look at the outline of my body on the screen, I see it look completely blank, except when they find a little heat patch of what could be potentially dangerous. There's only one big red circle. It's right on my Johnson, all right? I don't know why. I've just got a hot crotch, all right? Is that a disease? I shouldn't say that. No, I immediately joke with the TSA agent, okay? I used humor as a coping mechanism. I'm like, oh, great. Now you gotta touch my dick. Hooray for me. And his response, probably the worst thing I never could have prepared for, his response was, hey, aren't you on YouTube? You're the language guy. Great! Oh, great. You know, the only thing worse than being felt up at an airport by someone you don't know is someone that knows you, all right? And he's gonna be able to walk away saying, yeah, I actually felt the dick of that Duolingo guy. Hooray! Hooray! I mean, felicidades.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of, maybe he's going to be a little more gentle. He's going to take his time. Show you a good time. You don't know. You don't know.
Random person, we're going to part ways. I'm never going to remember this. He's hopefully never going to remember feeling, but this guy, god damn it. Oh, it was a good road trip. Either way, great road trip. I got a lot of big videos coming to your feed this month, so thank you for watching from your YouTube homepage. Even if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, I still appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day, and
I hope you do too.
Goodbye.
I hope you do too, Evan. That was lovely. Yeah. Sometimes you want a vegetable and you have to eat a cookie. That's just how it is sometimes. But you live and you learn. Shout out, Evan. That was fun. It was fun to watch Chicago in a YouTube video. I'm going to be going out to Chicago soon, probably in the next 2 to 3 months. So I'm definitely going to be running around my old stomping grounds and seeing some of my friends have any goofy things to get into. get into some trouble out there. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. That was funny. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Share it with each and every one of your friends. And if you want to come hang out with me while we watch videos and I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button and then click the little bell so every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com and get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.